They say love is blind, but mine made me invisible. My wife divorced me because I wasn't rich enough, successful enough, respectable enough for her world. She had no idea that every promotion she celebrated, every business triumph she posted about, every empire she thought she built, I owned it all. I was the silent king of her kingdom, and she threw me out like trash. For months, I watched her climb higher, fall in love again, chase the life she thought she deserved. And I never said a word, because sometimes the cruelest revenge isn't destroying someone, it's letting them destroy themselves while you hold all the cards they never knew existed. If you're watching this, hit subscribe and tell me where you're from, because you're not ready for how this story ends. The restaurant was the kind of place where waiters wore white gloves and knew your name before you sat down. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling like frozen waterfalls. The carpet was so thick my work boots would have sunk right in if I'd been stupid enough to wear them. I wasn't. I wore the suit Evelyn bought me, the expensive one, the one that made me look like I belonged at her table. But I didn't belong. Not really. And everyone in that room knew it. Marcus, darling, it's asked, not axed. Evelyn's voice was soft, sweet even, but her smile was tight. The kind of smile you give a child who's embarrassing you in public. I stopped mid-sentence. My fork hung in the air like a question mark. Around the table, her friends went quiet. Someone coughed. Another person suddenly found their wineglass very interesting. I said asked, I replied. My voice was calm, even. No, you said axed. She laughed, light, graceful, like it was all a joke. It's fine. We all have our little quirks. Her hand touched mine, soft, cold. I looked at that hand. The wedding ring I'd saved 2 years to buy still sat on her finger. It looked small next to the diamond her mother gave her when we got engaged, the one that cost more than my truck. Marcus is still learning, Helena Cross said from across the table. Evelyn's mother, white hair, white pearls, white teeth that smiled without warmth. It takes time to develop refinement. She said the word like it was medicine, something bitter you had to swallow. Marcus works very hard, Evelyn said, but the way she said it made it sound like an apology. He's out at 5 in the morning most days. Manual labor is exhausting. Manual labor. Not, my husband runs a maintenance company. Not, Marcus is a contractor. Just manual labor. Like I dug ditches. Like I emptied trash cans. I did both those things, actually. I did whatever the job required. But that wasn't the point. The point was the shame in her voice. How noble, said Richard something or other. Banker, old money, the kind of guy who wore cufflinks that cost more than my first car. Really? I admire people who aren't afraid of honest work. The way he said, honest work made it sound dirty. I smiled, picked up my water, took a long drink. Evelyn touched my arm. Marcus is great with his hands, she said. Then she laughed, high, nervous. I mean, he fixes everything. Our sink, the car, everything. Her friends nodded. Polite, distant, like I was the help. I'd met Evelyn 4 years ago. She was 26. I was 28. She'd locked herself out of her apartment, and the building manager called me to pick the lock. She was beautiful, not just pretty, beautiful. Blonde hair that caught the light, blue eyes that made you forget what you were saying. And she smiled at me like I mattered. We talked while I worked. She asked about my day, laughed at my jokes, didn't flinch when I said I ran a maintenance business. 3 months later, we were dating. 6 months after that, I loved her. A year later, I married her. And for a while, it was good. But then her mother started talking. Her friends started whispering. And Evelyn started changing. She stopped introducing me as her husband, started saying my partner instead, stopped posting pictures of us together, started going to events alone, and tonight, at this dinner with her rich, white friends, she looked at me like I was something she needed to explain. "We should get going," I said quietly. Evelyn blinked. "Already? We haven't even had dessert. I have an early job tomorrow." "Oh?" She glanced at her mother, then back at me. "Okay, sure." We said our goodbyes, polite, quick. Her friends smiled and waved like they were relieved. In the car, Evelyn was quiet. I drove, watched the city lights blur past. My hands were steady on the wheel. "You barely talked tonight," she said finally. "Didn't have much to say." "You could have tried, Marcus. These people are important to me." I kept my eyes on the road. "I know." "Do you?" Her voice was sharper now. "Because it didn't feel like it. You just sat there. You made me look bad." I pulled up to a red light, turned to look at her. "I made you look bad?" She looked away, out the window. "We need to talk tomorrow." My chest went cold. "About what?" "Just tomorrow, okay?" The light turned green. I drove us home in silence. Morning came too fast. I woke up on the couch. My back hurt. My neck hurt. Everything hurt. Evelyn was already in the kitchen when I walked in. She was dressed for work, hair perfect, makeup perfect. She looked like she'd slept fine. I hadn't slept at all. "Coffee?" she asked. "Sure." She poured 2 cups, slid one across the counter, didn't look at me. I sat down, wrapped my hands around the mug, waited. "Marcus?" She took a breath, let it out slow. "I've been thinking." Here it was. "I love you," she said. "I do, but I don't think this is working." My throat went tight. "What isn't working?" "Us." She finally looked at me. Her eyes were dry, steady. She'd practiced this. "I need someone who fits, someone who understands my world, someone who can stand beside me without me having to explain them." "Explain me." "You know what I mean." I did. I absolutely did. "This is about last night," I said. "It's about every night, Marcus. Every event, every dinner. I'm tired of feeling embarrassed." The word hit like a fist. "Embarrassed," I repeated. "I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it?" She looked away. I think we want different things. I want you. I want more." The words hung in the air like smoke. I set down my coffee, stood up, walked to the window. Outside, the city was waking up, people heading to work, living their lives, normal lives. "When did you decide this?" I asked. Silence. "Evelyn, a few weeks ago." A few weeks. All those nights she'd come home late, all those mornings she'd been distant, she'd already been gone. "I talked to a lawyer," she said quietly. My hands curled into fists, not from anger, from the effort it took to stay calm. "You talked to a lawyer?" I wanted to know my options. "Your options." "Marcus, please don't make this harder." I turned around, looked at her, really looked at her. She was scared. Not of me, of what this conversation meant, of the mess it would create. But she'd already decided. "What do you want?" I asked. "A clean break, fair terms. We can split things evenly." "I don't care about the money." She blinked. "What?" "Keep it. All of it." "Marcus, that's not— I don't want anything from you, Evelyn." Her mouth opened, closed. She looked confused, like I'd just spoken another language. "We should still do this properly," she said. "Mediation, lawyers. It doesn't have to be ugly." "Fine." "Fine?" "Yeah, whatever you want." She stared at me, waiting for the fight, the anger, the accusations. I gave her nothing. "Okay," she said slowly. "Okay. I'll I'll have my lawyer contact you." "Sure." I walked past her, grabbed my keys, headed for the door. "Marcus?" I stopped, didn't turn around. "I'm sorry," she said. Her voice cracked. Just a little. I opened the door. No, you're not. I spent the rest of the day working, fixing a broken water heater, replacing a cracked window, unclogging a drain. Simple work, honest work, the kind of work Evelyn's friends looked down on. By the time I got home, it was dark. The apartment was empty. Evelyn's car was gone. I sat in the silence, thought about everything that had just happened. 4 years. Gone. My phone buzzed, a text from a number I didn't recognize. Mr. Hale, this is Patricia Winters from Stein and Associates. Evelyn Hale has retained our services for her divorce proceedings. We'd like to schedule a consultation at your earliest convenience. Fast. She was moving fast. I typed back, tomorrow afternoon works. The response came immediately. 2 p.m., our office downtown. I set the phone down, leaned back, closed my eyes, and for the first time in 4 years, I let myself think about the truth. The truth Evelyn didn't know. The truth no one knew except 3 people in the world. I wasn't just Marcus Hale, maintenance contractor. I was Marcus Hale, majority owner and CEO of Cross Linden Industries, the company Evelyn worked for, the company her mother had built, the company I'd bought, restructured, and saved when it was drowning in debt 6 years ago. I'd done it quietly, through shell companies, proxies, legal structures so complex that even the smartest lawyers couldn't trace them back to me. Helena Cross thought she still ran the company. Evelyn thought she'd earned her VP position through merit. They had no idea I'd put them there, protected them, funded every expansion, every success. I'd done it because I loved Evelyn, because I wanted her to feel powerful, successful, important. I'd given her everything, and she'd just thrown me away. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a different number. One I recognized. Daniel Brooks, my COO, the man who ran the company while I stayed invisible. Saw the news. You okay? I stared at the message. Then I typed back, fine, don't change anything. You sure? Positive. Let her have her moment. Understood. I set the phone down. Tomorrow, I'd go to that lawyer's office. I'd sit across from Evelyn and her fancy legal team. I'd sign whatever papers they put in front of me. And I wouldn't say a word about who I really was. Because Evelyn wanted a clean break. She wanted to move on, upgrade, find someone who fit her world. Fine, I'd let her, but she'd do it without ever knowing the truth. She'd live her life thinking she'd escaped a poor, embarrassing husband. She'd never know she'd divorced the man who owned her entire world. And that thought, that quiet, patient thought, was the only thing that made me smile as I fell asleep on the couch that night. Some revenge doesn't need to be loud. Some revenge is just silence. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of boxes hitting the floor. I sat up, blinked, rubbed my eyes. Evelyn was in the bedroom. The door was open. I could see her moving around, pulling clothes from the closet, tossing them into suitcases. What are you doing? I called out, moving my things. Her voice was flat, businesslike. I stood up, walked to the bedroom door. The room looked like a crime scene, clothes everywhere, drawers hanging open, her jewelry box sitting on the bed, half empty. Already? I asked. There's no point waiting. She didn't look at me, just kept packing, fast, efficient. I'm staying with my mother until I find a place. Of course she was. You want help? No. I leaned against the doorframe, watched her work. Marcus, can you... She stopped, took a breath. Can you just go somewhere, please? This is hard enough. Hard for her. I almost laughed. Instead, I grabbed my jacket, my keys, headed for the door. Marcus? I stopped. The meeting's at 2, she said. Don't be late. I won't. I left. I drove around for a while. No destination, just driving. Ended up at my mother's house. She was in the garden when I pulled up, on her knees, hands in the dirt. She looked up when she heard my truck. Baby? She stood, wiped her hands on her jeans. What are you doing here? I got out, walked over, sat down on the porch steps. She sat next to me, didn't say anything, just waited. My mother knew how to wait. Evelyn wants a divorce, I said. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, I'm sorry. You're not surprised. No. I looked at her. Why not? She sighed, looked out at the garden. Because I saw it coming, baby. That girl never looked at you the way you looked at her. She loved me. Maybe, but she loved what you could be more than who you are. The words hurt because they were true. I gave her everything, Mama. I know you did. And she still thinks I'm not enough. My mother reached over, took my hand, squeezed it. You are enough, Marcus. You've always been enough. And one day, she's going to wake up and realize what she lost. I don't care if she does. Yes, you do. I pulled my hand away, stood up. I need to go. Meeting at 2. Marcus, I turned back. Don't let her make you small, my mother said. You're bigger than all of this. I nodded, got in my truck, drove away. The law office was everything I expected. Glass, steel, marble floors that echoed with every step. The receptionist smiled when I walked in. Professional, polite. Marcus Hale? That's me. Conference room B, second floor. I took the elevator up, found the room, opened the door. Evelyn was already there, sitting at a long table, her lawyer beside her, a woman in a sharp suit with hair pulled back so tight it looked painful. Mr. Hale? The lawyer stood, extended her hand. Patricia Winters. I shook it. Marcus, please sit. I sat. Evelyn wouldn't look at me. Let's keep this simple, Patricia said. She opened a folder, slid papers across the table. Mrs. Hale is proposing a straightforward division of assets. The apartment will be sold, proceeds split evenly, bank accounts divided, no alimony on either side. I glanced at the papers, didn't pick them up. I don't want half, I said. Patricia blinked. I'm sorry? The apartment, the accounts, she can keep them. Mr. Hale, I don't think you understand. I understand fine. I'm saying I don't want anything. Evelyn finally looked at me. Her eyes were wide, confused. Marcus, that's not, she started. I'll take my tools, my truck. That's it. Patricia glanced at Evelyn, then back at me. Mr. Hale, I strongly advise you to consult with your own attorney before. I don't need an attorney. I'm telling you what I want. Write it up. I'll sign it. The room went quiet. Patricia's mouth opened, closed. She looked at Evelyn like she was expecting her to say something. Evelyn just stared at me. This is what you wanted, right? I asked. A clean break. Fast. Easy. Yes, but then let's do it. Patricia cleared her throat. If you're certain, I am. She nodded slowly, made notes on a legal pad. We'll draft the paperwork. You can review and sign next week. Great. I stood up. Marcus, wait. Evelyn stood too. Can we talk? Alone? I looked at her, really looked at her. She looked tired, sad even, but she'd made her choice. There's nothing to talk about, I said. And I left. 3 days. That's how long it took for the divorce papers to be ready. 3 days of living in that empty apartment. 3 days of silence so thick it felt like drowning. I didn't call anyone, didn't tell my friends, just went to work, came home, slept on the couch. On the 4th day, I signed the papers. Patricia Winters watched me write my name with the kind of expression people get when they see something they can't quite believe, like I was giving away a winning lottery ticket. You're sure about this? She asked for the 3rd time. I'm sure. She shook her head, gathered the papers. You're either very stupid or very noble, Mr. Hale. I haven't figured out which. Neither, I thought. But I didn't say it out loud. Evelyn wasn't there. She'd signed her copies the day before, couldn't even be bothered to show up for the final meeting. That told me everything I needed to know. I left the law office and sat in my truck for 20 minutes. Just sat there, staring at nothing. My phone buzzed. A text from Evelyn. "It's done. Thank you for making this easy." Thank you. Like I'd done her a favor, like I'd helped her move furniture or fixed her sink. I didn't respond. Instead, I called Daniel Brooks. He picked up on the first ring. "Marcus, I need you to do something for me," I said. "Name it. Don't tell anyone. Not about the divorce, not about me. Nothing changes." Silence on the other end. "Daniel, you're sure about this?" "Completely." "She doesn't know, does she?" "No." "And you're not going to tell her?" "No." He was quiet for a moment. Then, "This is going to eat you alive, Marcus." "Maybe, but it's my choice." "All right, you're the boss. Keep it that way." I hung up. That night, Evelyn posted on social media. I saw it because I was weak, because I still followed her, because some part of me wanted to see if she felt anything at all. The post was a picture of her, smiling, standing in front of a window with city lights behind her. She looked free, happy. The caption read, "New chapter, new beginning, excited for what's ahead." 300 likes in an hour. Comments flooded in. "You go, girl. So proud of you. New beginnings are the best." Not one person asked about me. Not one person mentioned that she'd just ended a 4-year marriage. I was already erased. I closed the app, put my phone face down on the table, and I made a decision. I wasn't going to fight, wasn't going to argue, wasn't going to tell her the truth, but I also wasn't going to disappear. I was going to watch her rise, watch her succeed, watch her live the life she thought she deserved. And I was going to know, every single day, that it was all because of me, that I was the foundation beneath her feet, that every promotion, every success, every moment of pride came from the company I owned, the company I built, the company I gave her. That knowledge would be enough. It had to be. 1 week later, Cross Linden Industries announced a major expansion. New offices in 3 cities, 200 new jobs, partnerships with major firms across the country. The news hit every business channel, every financial blog. Evelyn's name was mentioned in half the articles. VP of Operations Evelyn Cross leads innovative growth strategy. She didn't know I'd approved the funding, didn't know Daniel and I had been planning this for 6 months. She thought it was all her. Watched the press conference from my truck, parked outside a job site, eating a sandwich, looking at my phone. Evelyn stood at a podium, confident, beautiful, powerful. "This expansion represents everything Cross Linden stands for," she said. "Innovation, excellence, progress." The reporters ate it up. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. "She looks good on camera." I typed back, "Make sure the board approves her bonus." "Already done." "You're too soft, Marcus." "Just doing my job." "Your job is to run the company, not play guardian angel to your ex-wife." I didn't respond to that because he was right, but I didn't care. 2 days later, I ran into Helena Cross. Literally. I was leaving a hardware store carrying bags of supplies and she was walking in. We nearly collided at the door. "Marcus." She said my name like it tasted bad. "Helena." We stood there, awkward, tense. "I heard about the divorce," she said finally. "I'm sorry it didn't work out." She didn't sound sorry. She sounded relieved. "These things happen," I said. "Yes. Well?" She adjusted her purse. "Evelyn is doing very well, you know. The company is thriving. She's really coming into her own." "I'm glad. Are you?" Her eyes narrowed. "Or are you bitter?" I could have said so many things. Could have told her the truth right there. Could have watched her face crumble when she realized who she was talking to. Instead, I smiled. "I'm happy for her," I said, and I walked away. That night, I went to my mother's house for dinner. She made pot roast, my favorite, the kind that falls apart when you touch it, the kind that makes the whole house smell like home. We ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then she set down her fork. "You've been quiet," she said. "Just thinking." "About Evelyn?" "About everything." She nodded, took a sip of water. "You know you don't have to protect her, right?" I looked up. "What?" "Evelyn, you're still protecting her, even now." "I'm not." "Marcus." Her voice was firm, gentle, the voice she used when I was a kid and trying to lie about something stupid. "I know you. I know what you do. And I know you're still taking care of her from the shadows." I set down my fork. "She doesn't deserve that," my mother continued. "She threw you away, treated you like you were nothing." "I know." "Then why?" I didn't have a good answer, not one that made sense. "Because I loved her," I said finally. "And maybe part of me still does." My mother reached across the table, took my hand. "Love isn't supposed to hurt like this, baby." "I know." "Then let her go. Really, let her go." I squeezed her hand. "I'm trying." She didn't look convinced. We finished dinner. I helped her wash dishes. We talked about normal things, safe things. But when I left, driving home in the dark, I knew my mother was right. I was still holding on, still hoping, still waiting for something that would never come. The next morning, I got call from an unknown number. "Hello, Mr. Hale?" A man's voice, smooth, confident. "This is Victor Lang." I knew the name. Victor Lang, executive at Cross Linden, 35, Harvard graduate, old money family, the kind of guy who wore $1,000 watches and talked about synergy. "What can I do for you?" I asked. I wanted to reach out personally. I've been working closely with Evelyn, your ex-wife, and I understand the divorce was recent. I just wanted to make sure there are no hard feelings. No hard feelings. "Why would there be hard feelings?" I asked. "Well," he laughed, uncomfortable. "Evelyn and I have grown quite close over the past few months. I didn't want you to feel blindsided if you heard about us." Us. My hand tightened on the phone. "You're dating her," I said, not a question. "Yes. I hope that's not awkward." Awkward. He was sleeping with my wife, ex-wife, and wanted to know if it was awkward. "Congratulations," I said. "Really? That's, thank you. That's very mature of you." "Sure." "Great. Well, I just wanted to clear the air. No drama, right?" "Right." "Excellent. Take care, Marcus." He hung up. I sat in my truck, stared at my phone. Victor Lang. Of course. Evelyn had upgraded, found someone who fit, someone from her world, someone who didn't embarrass her. I pulled up Victor's file on my company database, read through his performance reviews, his compensation, his projects. He was good, not great, but good enough, and he was ambitious, very ambitious, the kind of ambitious that made stupid decisions. I made a note in his file, flagged it for Daniel to watch. Then, I put my phone away and went to work. 3 weeks after the divorce was finalized, Evelyn posted again. This time, it was a photo of her and Victor at some charity gala, him in a tuxedo, her in a gold dress that probably cost more than most people's rent. They looked perfect together, like they'd stepped out of a magazine. The caption, "Grateful for new adventures with amazing people." Amazing people. The comments were even worse than before. "You two are stunning." "Power couple." "He's so handsome." I scrolled through them all, every single one, and I felt nothing. Not anger, not jealousy, not sadness, just emptiness. Like I was watching someone else's life, someone I used to know. My phone rang. Daniel. "Did you see it?" he asked. "Yeah." "You okay?" "Fine." "Marcus, I'm fine, Daniel, really." He sighed. "Victor's pushing for more control, wants to restructure the European division, cut costs, maximize profits. What do you think? I asked. I think he's reckless. He's looking at short-term gains without considering long-term stability. Then block it. The board might push back. Let them. I'll handle it if it comes to that. All right, just be careful, Marcus. This guy's got Evelyn's ear. If he starts digging, he won't find anything. The structure's solid. If you say so. We hung up. I sat there for a while, thinking. Victor Lang was a problem, not because he was dating Evelyn, but because he was careless, and careless people made mistakes, mistakes I couldn't afford. That weekend, I went out with my old friends, guys I'd known since high school, people who knew me before Evelyn, before the money, before everything got complicated. We went to a bar, played pool, drank beer, laughed at stupid jokes. It felt normal. Man, you look better, said Jackson, my oldest friend, tall, loud, honest to a fault. Last time I saw you, you looked like death. Thanks, I said dryly. No, seriously, you were all messed up over that girl. Her name's Evelyn. I know her name. I'm just saying, she wasn't worth it, man. I lined up a shot, hit the cue ball, sank the three. She thought I wasn't good enough, I said. Then she's an idiot. She's not an idiot, Jackson. She's just different. Different how? Because she's white? Rich? Because her mama's got a stick up her... Jackson. He held up his hands. All right, all right. I'm just saying, you're better off. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was better off. But it didn't feel that way yet. We played another game. Then another. I lost both. You're distracted, Jackson said. I'm fine. You keep saying that, but you're not. I set down my cue, looked at him. What do you want me to say, Jackson? That I'm hurt? That I'm angry? That I feel like I wasted 4 years of my life on someone who never really saw me? Yeah, I want you to say that. Why? Because it's the truth, and you've been holding it in since the divorce. He wasn't wrong. I'd been holding everything in, pushing it down, staying quiet, because that was the plan. That was the revenge. But Jackson didn't know about the plan, didn't know about the company, didn't know anything except what I showed him. And what I showed him was a man pretending to be fine. I'm working on it, I said finally. Good. Because you deserve better, Marcus. You always have. We finished the game, went home, said our goodbyes, and I believed him. I did deserve better. I just had to figure out what that looked like. Monday morning, I got a call from Daniel. We've got a problem, he said. What kind of problem? Victor convinced 3 board members to vote for his restructuring plan. It's going to a full vote next week. I sat up. Can we stop it? Not easily. He's got momentum, and Evelyn's backing him. Of course she was. What's the plan? I asked. You could come in, reveal yourself, shut it down. No, Marcus, no. Find another way. There might not be another way. Then make one. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Then, you're going to let him destroy the company just to keep your cover? He's not going to destroy the company. I won't let him get that far. How? I'll figure it out. I hung up before he could argue. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay on the couch, stared at the ceiling, thought about Victor, about Evelyn, about everything that was falling apart. I'd built Cross Linden from nothing, turned it into an empire, protected it, nurtured it, and now some Harvard grad with a nice smile and expensive suits was trying to tear it down. For profit, for ego, for Evelyn. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Thinking about you. Hope you're okay. Evelyn. I stared at the message for a long time. She was thinking about me. After everything. After Victor. After the divorce. She was thinking about me. I started to type a response, then deleted it, then started again. Finally, I just turned off my phone. Some conversations weren't worth having. The next day, I went back to work, fixed a broken furnace, replaced some pipes, unclogged a toilet. Simple work, honest work, the kind of work that made sense. That night, I drove past Evelyn's new apartment. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe. Stupidity. Definitely. The lights were on. I could see shadows moving behind the curtains. Two shadows. She wasn't alone. I kept driving, went home, sat in the dark, and I made a decision. I wasn't going to save Evelyn anymore. Wasn't going to protect her from Victor, from herself, from the consequences of her choices. If she wanted to follow him off a cliff, that was her choice. I was done playing guardian angel, but I also wasn't done watching, because the fall, when it came, was going to be spectacular, and I wanted a front row seat. 2 weeks later, Cross Linden Industries held its quarterly board meeting. I wasn't there. I was never there. That was the whole point. But Daniel called me right after. Victor's restructuring plan passed, he said. His voice was tight, angry. I was working under someone's sink, wrench in hand, water dripping somewhere behind the pipes. What was the vote? I asked. 7-5. He had the numbers. Evelyn gave a whole speech about bold moves and calculated risks. I tightened a bolt. What's the plan? Cut half the European staff, outsource production to cheaper facilities, redirect funds to high-risk investments. It's aggressive. Too aggressive. Time frame? Implementation starts next month. I set down my wrench, wiped my hands on a rag. Let it happen, I said. Marcus, let it happen, Daniel. Don't interfere. This could tank the company. No, it'll hurt, but it won't tank. I've got safety measures in place. And Victor? Victor's going to learn a lesson. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Then, you're playing a dangerous game. I know. Just don't burn the whole house down to prove a point. I won't. We hung up. I went back to fixing the sink. That night, Evelyn posted another photo. Her and Victor at some fancy restaurant. Champagne glasses raised, big smiles. The caption, celebrating big wins. Here's to taking risks and making moves. Big wins. She had no idea what was coming. The comments rolled in. Yes, queen. Love this for you. You two are goals. I closed the app, put my phone away, and I waited. 3 weeks passed. Victor's restructuring plan rolled out exactly as Daniel predicted. Layoffs in Europe, production moved to cheaper facilities, investments made in untested markets. At first, everything looked fine. The stock price even went up a little. The business press praised Victor's innovative approach. Evelyn did interviews, talked about modernizing the company, about staying competitive. She looked happy, confident. Victor looked smug, and I watched it all from the shadows. Then the cracks started to show. The cheaper facilities couldn't meet quality standards. Products got delayed. Customers complained. The high-risk investments didn't pay off. 2 of the new markets collapsed within weeks. Money started disappearing. Not enough to panic, but enough to notice. Daniel called me every other day with updates. The board's getting nervous, he said during one call. They're asking questions. Let them ask. Victor's deflecting, blaming external factors, market conditions. And Evelyn? Defending him. She's all in, Marcus. She believes in this guy. Of course she did, because Victor was everything I wasn't. Polished, confident, from her world, and she couldn't see that he was drowning. How bad is it? I asked. Bad enough. We're looking at a 10% loss this quarter, maybe more. That's manageable. For now. But if this continues, it won't. Trust me. 1 month after the restructuring began, I got a text from an unknown number. Marcus, it's Evelyn. Can we talk? Please. I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I called her. She picked up on the first ring. Marcus. Her voice was strained, tired. What do you want, Evelyn? I just, I wanted to check in, see how you're doing. I'm fine. Are you? I heard you're still doing maintenance work. It's what I do. I know, but I don't know. I guess I thought you'd move on to something bigger. Something bigger, like she had. I'm happy where I am, I said. Oh, good. That's good. Silence stretched between us. Awkward. Heavy. Was there something else? I asked. I. She hesitated. I wanted to say I'm sorry about how things ended. I wasn't fair to you. You were honest. That's more than some people. Still, you deserved better. Yeah, I did. More silence. How's Victor? I asked. I shouldn't have, but I couldn't help myself. He's good. Great, actually. Things at work are a little stressful right now, but we're handling it. Handling it. I'm sure you are. Marcus, I have to go, Evelyn. Take care of yourself. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking, not from anger, from the effort it took not to tell her everything, not to warn her, not to save her. But I'd made my choice. She'd made hers. And now we both had to live with it. The next day, I went to visit my mother. She was in the kitchen when I arrived, baking bread. The smell hit me the moment I walked in the door. Baby, she smiled, wiped flour on her apron. I didn't know you were coming. Needed to get out of my head, I said. Come sit. I sat at the kitchen table, the same table I'd sat at 1,000 times growing up, the same chair. Everything here was the same, solid, real, honest. Evelyn called you, my mother said, not a question. How'd you know? Because you've got that look, the one you get when she pulls you back in. I rubbed my face. She wanted to apologize. Did she mean it? I don't know, maybe? My mother pulled the bread from the oven, set it on the counter to cool. You still love her, she said quietly. I don't know what I feel anymore. Yes, you do. You're just afraid to admit it. I looked at her. What do you want me to say, Mama? That I still think about her? That I wonder if I made a mistake? That maybe if I just told her the truth? Stop. Her voice was firm. Don't do that to yourself. Do what? Blame yourself for her choices. She left you, Marcus. She looked at everything you were and decided it wasn't enough. That's on her, not you. But maybe if she knew what? That you're rich? That you own her company? That you've been protecting her this whole time? My mother shook her head. That's not love, baby. That's control. The words hit hard. I never wanted to control her, I said. Then why are you still pulling strings? I didn't have an answer. My mother sat down across from me, took my hands. Let her fall, Marcus. Let her learn, and let yourself heal. I don't know how. Yes, you do. You just don't want to. She was right. I didn't want to let go. Didn't want to stop caring. Didn't want to accept that the woman I loved had never really loved me back. But I had to. Because holding on was killing me. 2 days later, the board called an emergency meeting. Daniel called me right after. Victor's out, he said. I was sitting in my truck, eating a sandwich, watching the rain. Out, I repeated. Fired, effective immediately. They voted 8-4. What happened? His restructuring plan collapsed. The losses were worse than projected. Customers are threatening to leave. The board had no choice. I set down my sandwich. And Evelyn? She fought for him. Hard, but she couldn't stop it. The numbers don't lie. How's she taking it? Not well. She stormed out of the meeting. Haven't heard from her since. I sat there, processing. Victor was gone. Just like that. The plan I'd set in motion had worked. The trap I'd laid had sprung. And I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no joy, no revenge, just emptiness. Marcus, Daniel's voice pulled me back. Yeah. You okay? Fine. What's next? We stabilize, undo the damage, bring in new leadership. Do it. And Victor? Let him go quietly. No public statements, no drama. You're being generous. I'm being smart. Drama draws attention, and I don't need attention. Understood. We hung up. I finished my sandwich in silence. That night, I saw Victor. I was at a bar. Not my usual place. Just somewhere quiet where I could think. He walked in around 9, alone. Looked like he'd aged 10 years in 2 days. He sat at the bar, ordered whiskey, drank it fast. I should have left, should have walked out before he saw me. But I didn't. I stayed, watched, waited. He ordered another drink, then another. Finally, he turned and saw me. For a moment, he just stared, like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Then he walked over. Marcus Hale. His voice was slurred, bitter. Victor, what are you doing here? Celebrating? Just having a drink. He laughed, sharp, ugly. You know what's funny? I tried to call Evelyn. After they fired me, you know what she said? I didn't respond. She said she needed time. Time to think. Time to process. He took a long drink. 4 hours after they canned me, and she's already distancing herself. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. No, you're not. You're probably loving this. I don't love anything about this situation, right? Because you're such a good guy, the understanding ex-husband. He leaned closer. You know she never respected you, right? She told me. Said you were nice, but small, limited. The words should have hurt. They didn't, because I knew something Victor didn't. I knew that Evelyn's respect didn't matter. Not anymore. She's scared, Victor continued. Scared of failing. Scared of being alone. That's why she's with me. Was with me. He corrected himself bitterly. I was safe, successful, everything she wanted. And now you're not. He flinched. Yeah, now I'm not. He finished his drink, stood up, swayed a little. You're better off without her, he said. Trust me. Then he walked out. I sat there for a long time after he left, thinking about what he'd said, about Evelyn, about fear, about what people do when they're afraid, and I realized something. Evelyn hadn't left me because I wasn't enough. She'd left me because she was afraid, afraid of being judged, afraid of not fitting in, afraid of loving someone her world wouldn't accept. That didn't make it hurt less, but it made it make sense. The next morning, I got another text from Evelyn. Can we meet, please? I need to talk to you. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed, Why? The response came fast. Because I made a mistake. Because I need to see you. Because I don't know who else to talk to. I could have said no, should have said no, but I didn't. Coffee, tomorrow, 10 a.m. You pick the place. Thank you. I put my phone down, and I wondered what I was doing. The coffee shop was small, quiet, the kind of place where people worked on laptops, and nobody bothered you. Evelyn was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table, no makeup, hair pulled back. She looked tired, human, not the polished executive I'd seen in photos, just Evelyn. I sat down across from her. Hi, she said quietly. Hi. Thanks for coming. I nodded. Didn't say anything. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup, stared into it like it held answers. I heard about Victor, I said finally. Yeah. Her voice was small. It's been a mess. I'm sorry. Are you? She looked up. Really? Yes. She studied my face, searching for something. You always were the good one. Don't do that, Evelyn. Do what? Make me into something I'm not. I'm not good. I'm just here. She looked away, out the window. Everything's falling apart, Marcus. The company, my career, Victor, everything I worked for. You'll rebuild. Will I? Her eyes were red. I don't know anymore. I thought I had it all figured out. Thought I knew what I wanted. But now, she trailed off. I waited. I was wrong about you, she said finally. About us. I let my mother get in my head. Let my friends' opinions matter more than my feelings. And I threw away the one person who actually cared about me. The words hung in the air. I wanted to feel something, vindication, satisfaction, anything. But all I felt was sad. You made your choice, I said. I know, and I have to live with it. She reached across the table, touched my hand. But I wanted you to know, I'm sorry, truly sorry. I looked at her hand on mine, the same hand I'd held 1,000 times, the same hand that wore my ring for 4 years, and I pulled away. I appreciate that, I said, but sorry doesn't fix anything. I know, and I can't be what you need me to be, Evelyn. I can't be your backup plan, your safe place to land when everything else fails. Her face crumpled. That's not what I'm asking. Isn't it? She didn't answer. I stood up. Take care of yourself, Evelyn. I mean that. Marcus, please. Goodbye. I left, and this time, I didn't look back. 3 months passed like water through fingers. I stopped checking Evelyn's social media, stopped asking Daniel about her, stopped thinking about her every morning when I woke up. Well, almost stopped. Some habits take longer to break than others. I threw myself into work, real work, the kind that made my back hurt and my hands dirty. I took on extra jobs, helped Jackson fix up his house, started going to the gym at 5 in the morning. My mother said I looked healthier, stronger. I felt emptier, but that was fine. Empty was better than hurting. Daniel called one Tuesday afternoon. I was replacing someone's water heater. Marcus, we need to talk. I'm working. This is important. I wiped my hands on my pants, stepped outside into the hallway. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. That's the problem. I don't follow. The company's stabilizing. We undid most of Victor's damage. Revenue's back up. Stock price is recovering. Everything's fine. That's good, is it? I leaned against the wall. What are you trying to say, Daniel? I'm saying you've been running this company from the shadows for 6 years. You've built something incredible, and you're wasting it by hiding. I'm not hiding. Then what do you call it? I didn't have an answer. Marcus, I respect your choices. I do. But this can't last forever. Eventually, people are going to start asking questions. Eventually, someone's going to dig deep enough to find you. Let them. And Evelyn? I was quiet. She's struggling, Daniel continued. The board's losing confidence. Her projects keep hitting roadblocks. She's good at her job, but without Victor pushing her agenda, she's losing ground. That's not my problem, isn't it? You're still approving her budgets, still protecting her position, still... Daniel, I'm just saying, if you want to let go, then let go. Really let go. Stop pulling strings. Stop watching over her. Let the company be the company. He was right. Again. What do you suggest? I asked. Take a step back. Give me full authority. Let the board make decisions without your invisible hand guiding everything. And if they make the wrong decisions, then they make the wrong decisions. That's business, Marcus. That's life. I thought about it. Really thought about it. One condition, I said finally. Name it. If Evelyn's in real trouble, if her job's actually at risk, you tell me. I don't have to do anything about it, but I want to know. Deal. We hung up. And for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. 2 weeks later, I went on a date. Jackson set it up. Insisted, actually. You need to get back out there, he said. Stop moping around like a sad puppy. I'm not moping. You're absolutely moping, so you're going. Her name's Lisa. She's a teacher. She's nice. You'll like her. I didn't want to go, but Jackson wouldn't let it drop. So I went. Lisa was pretty, brown skin, bright smile. She talked about her students and her family and her dog. She was nice, and I felt nothing. Not her fault. She was lovely, funny, interesting, but my heart wasn't in it. We finished dinner, said polite goodbyes. She gave me her number. I said I'd call. I wouldn't. On the way home, I drove past Evelyn's building. I don't know why. Old habit, maybe. Her car was in the lot. Lights were on in her apartment. I kept driving. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, stared at the ceiling, thought about everything: the company, Evelyn, Victor, the divorce, the lies, the secrets, all of it. And I realized something. I'd spent the last 6 months trying to punish Evelyn with silence, with watching her struggle, with knowing I had all the power and she had none. But the only person I was punishing was myself, because she didn't know, would never know, couldn't know. My revenge was invisible, my victory was hollow, and I was tired. So tired. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Board meeting tomorrow. They're discussing restructuring the executive team. Thought you should know. I stared at the message. Then I made a decision. The next morning, I called Daniel. I'm coming in, I said. Silence. You're what? I'm coming to the board meeting. It's time. Marcus, are you sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. When? Tomorrow. Set it up. This is going to change everything. I know. I didn't sleep that night either. Just sat in my apartment, thought about what I was about to do. Revealing myself meant questions, attention, exposure. It meant facing Evelyn, facing Helena, facing everyone who thought I was just a maintenance worker. It meant destroying the comfortable lie I'd been living. But it also meant freedom. Freedom from hiding, from pretending, from carrying this secret like a weight around my neck. I texted my mother. I'm going to tell them tomorrow. She called immediately. Are you sure about this, baby? No, but I can't keep living like this. What changed? Me. I changed. She was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm proud of you, Marcus. Whatever you decide, I'm proud. Thanks, Mama. And Marcus? Yeah? Don't do this for her. Do it for you. I will. The board meeting was at 10. I showed up at 9:30, wore a suit, the good one, the one I'd bought for my wedding. The receptionist looked confused when I walked in. Can I help you? She asked. I'm here for the board meeting. Name? Marcus Hale. She typed on her computer, frowned. I don't see you on the list. Call Daniel Brooks. He'll clear it. She picked up the phone, spoke quietly. Her eyes widened. Mr. Brooks will be right down, she said. I waited. Daniel appeared 2 minutes later, looked at me, smiled. You really doing this? He asked. I'm really doing this. All right then. Let's go. We took the elevator to the top floor, the executive floor, the floor I'd never stepped foot on despite owning the whole damn building. The boardroom was huge, long table, leather chairs, windows overlooking the city. 12 people sat around the table, Helena Cross at the head and Evelyn, 3 seats down, talking to someone, not paying attention. Daniel and I walked in. Everyone went quiet. Helena looked up, saw me. Her face went confused, then annoyed. Excuse me, she said. This is a closed meeting. I know, I said. I'm Marcus Hale, majority shareholder, CEO. The room exploded. People started talking at once. Helena stood up. Evelyn's mouth fell open. That's impossible, Helena said. I founded this company. And you almost bankrupted it 6 years ago, I said calmly. I bought 70% of the shares through a series of shell corporations. Daniel Brooks has been my proxy COO. I've been running this company ever since. This is insane, someone said. It's documented, Daniel said. He pulled out a folder, started distributing papers. Everything's here: share certificates, legal documents, board authorization. Evelyn hadn't moved, just stared at me like she was seeing a ghost. Helena grabbed the papers, read them. Her face went white. "This can't be legal," she whispered. "It's completely legal," Daniel said. "And it's been in place for 6 years. Why?" Helena looked at me. "Why would you do this?" "Because I loved your daughter," I said simply, "and I wanted to give her everything, including the illusion that she'd earned it herself." Evelyn made a sound, small, broken. Everyone turned to look at her. "You knew?" Helena asked. "Evelyn, did you know about this?" "No." Evelyn's voice was barely a whisper. "I had no idea." I looked at her, really looked at her. She looked shattered. "I never wanted you to know," I said. "I wanted you to feel successful, powerful, important. I wanted you to believe in yourself." "By lying to me?" Her voice cracked. "By loving you." The room was silent. "This is why you didn't fight the divorce," she said. "Why you gave me everything. Why you never argued." "Yes, because you already had everything." "No, because I didn't want anything from you that you weren't willing to give freely." She stood up, walked toward me, stopped a few feet away. "You let me divorce you," she said. "You let me humiliate you. Let me treat you like you were nothing. And you were this the whole time." "Yes. Why?" "Because you made your choice, Evelyn, and I respected it." Tears ran down her face. "I was so stupid." "No, you were honest. You told me what you wanted, and it wasn't me. I didn't know. It shouldn't have mattered. If you loved me, really loved me, it wouldn't have mattered if I was rich or poor. But it did matter. To you, to your mother, to everyone in your world." Helena started to speak. I held up my hand. "I'm done. Hiding," I said. "I'm taking active control of this company. Daniel will continue as COO. The rest of you will report directly to me. If anyone has a problem with that, you're welcome to resign." No one spoke. "Good." Meeting adjourned. I walked out. Daniel followed. Behind us, I heard chaos erupting, voices rising, questions flying. I didn't look back. I made it to the elevator before Evelyn caught up. "Marcus, wait, please." I stopped, turned around. She was crying, mascara running, perfect facade crumbling. "I don't know what to say," she said. "Then don't say anything. You've been taking care of me this whole time, even after the divorce, even after Victor, even after everything I did to you." "Yes." "Why?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "Because I'm not you, Evelyn. I don't throw people away when they're not useful anymore. I don't measure love by status or money or what other people think. I just love. And even when you broke my heart, I couldn't stop." She sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I know you are. Can we, is there any chance?" "No." The word hung in the air like smoke. "No," she repeated. "No. I spent 6 months watching you move on, watching you be happy with Victor, watching you build a life that didn't include me. And I realized something. You were right to leave me. I wasn't, you were, because I deserved someone who would love me for who I am, not who I could be, not what I could give them, just me. I did love you, maybe, but not enough." The elevator dinged. Doors opened. I stepped inside. "Goodbye, Evelyn." "Marcus." The doors closed. I walked out of the building and into the sunlight. My phone was already buzzing. Messages, calls, news alerts. I ignored all of it. Just walked to my truck. Got in. Drove. I ended up at my mother's house. She was in the garden. Saw me coming. Stood up. "How'd it go?" she asked. "It's done." "How do you feel?" I thought about it. "Free." She hugged me, held me tight. "Good. That's good, baby." We went inside. She made tea. We sat at the kitchen table. What happens now? She asked. I run the company, openly, no more hiding. And Evelyn? She knows everything, and I let her go. Really let her go. My mother nodded. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Mama. We drank our tea in comfortable silence. Weeks passed. The news spread. Articles were written. People talked. Mystery. CEO reveals identity after years in hiding. Ex-husband's shocking secret. He owned his wife's company all along. From maintenance worker to billionaire. The Marcus Hale story. I ignored most of it, focused on work, real work, running the company properly, making decisions openly, being visible. It felt strange at first, uncomfortable. Then it felt right. Evelyn tried to reach out multiple times, emails, texts, calls. I didn't respond. Eventually, she stopped. 3 months later, I heard she left the company, took a position somewhere else, started over. Good for her. I meant that. Helena retired, moved to Europe, disappeared from my life completely. Even better. I sold the maintenance business, gave my employees generous severance packages, made sure everyone landed on their feet. Then I moved. New apartment, new city, new life. But I kept one thing, my Lamborghini, the one I'd bought years ago and kept hidden, the one that represented everything I'd built, everything I'd achieved. I drove it every day, and sometimes, early in the morning when the city was still sleeping, I'd drive past the old office building, just once, just to remember who I was, who I'd been, who I'd become. One morning, 6 months after the revelation, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Marcus? A woman's voice. Familiar. Who is this? It's Evelyn. I should have hung up, should have deleted the number, should have moved on. But I didn't. What do you want, Evelyn? I just. I wanted you to know I'm okay. I found a new job, new place. I'm starting over. Good. I'm glad. Are you? Really? Yes. Silence. I think about you, she said quietly. Every day, I think about what I lost, what I threw away. You should stop doing that. I can't. You have to. Marcus, we're not going back, Evelyn. There's no future for us, no second chance. What we had is done. I know. Her voice broke. I know. I just wanted to hear your voice. One more time. I closed my eyes. Take care of yourself, I said. You too. I hung up. And this time, I blocked the number. That afternoon, I went for a drive. The city was beautiful, sun shining, people everywhere, life happening. I pulled up to a red light. A woman in a Honda pulled up next to me, glanced over, did a double take when she saw the Lambo. She smiled, gave me a thumbs up. I smiled back. The light turned green. I drove. And somewhere across town, in an apartment I'd never see, Evelyn was probably wondering who I really was, who I'd always been, what she'd lost. She'd never know the full story, never understand the depth of what I'd given her. And that was fine, because I knew, and my mother knew, and Daniel knew, and that was enough. Some mornings, Evelyn still probably drives past the old building, still sees my car parked outside sometimes, still wonders. Good, let her wonder, let her remember, let her realize, slowly, painfully, completely, that the man she thought was beneath her was the foundation she stood on all along. That's not revenge, that's just truth, and truth, I've learned, is the quietest victory of all. The end.